Oh, hello there. You know, for the last probably about 3 months, I've been taking pictures to do an inspirational slideshow for my creative year. And mainly it's on wildflowers that I took pictures, and but I wanted to also bring up the fact that there are people that can't get out and take pictures for themselves. Most of my pictures that I took, I was driving in my car and I seen wildflowers and I would stop and take a picture of them. And but I wanted to bring up the fact that books are a wonderful resource, and you don't have to buy them new. You can go to a secondhand store and buy them for a few dollars. This is one that I picked up for my mother, so she would have inspirational photos to use in her art. And it probably cost me $1, maybe $1.25 or something. I don't know. She took the price of it off, but I probably picked it up at like Goodwill or Salvation Army or something. And because I'm very passionate about nature, there are a few books that I have purchased, and this is one of them, and I love using them for inspiration. So there's another resource, that you may have in your own bookshelf, your own library. The other is magazines, calendars, and these are all on flowers. And you have a wonderful reference to use. Either you could cut them out and glue them down or what have you, or just use them for your a bad habit of doing that. It's wonderful to be able to look at something close up. And basically, when I took the pictures, I tried taking, I was standing some distance from them, but from that picture, I would blow it up and do a screenshot so I would have close-ups of the things that I took pictures of. And, I really hope that you guys, it's rather a long video because I really wanted to make sure that I didn't speed it up so you couldn't see the details, because that's part of what I wanted to show you guys is inspiration is around us no matter where we're at. And my close-ups really show the fine lines of these teeny weeny wildflowers. And I hope you enjoy. There's some pictures of some birds and chickens, and if I can upload the one to the deer that I took. But it's going to be kind of a lengthy one because I just want you guys to, when I look at this, I look, it's nature. It's a lot of them are cultivated flowers that belong to my mother's neighbor that I'm able to walk around. But I hope you enjoyed the video and use it for inspiration. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, thank you. Bye. There are some soap lilies down there in bloom. And I'm not wearing the right kind of shoes to be traipsing around in the brush. So maybe I'll get another picture of it later for everyone. I have the proper shoes on now. Now I'll walk down here. There's a well-worn path that goes through here, some wild animal, but I wanted to get a picture of these soap lilies for you guys. Yeah, you can see all the grass that slide down and the path that goes through. But the interesting thing about these lilies are that they bloom towards the evening, right before the sun goes down, which is, you know, what it is right now. And there's a whole group of them here. And they're very small. See if I could zoom in. And I don't know what critter has been sleeping down here, but you can tell. But they're just tiny. Tiny little lilies. And if you see the little buds, those will be the ones, the next set will bloom tomorrow night. And the other one that bloomed today is finished. It's been spent. But I just thought I'd show you guys the lilies. If you were to dig up the root of these, they do lather up, and that's where they get their common name. But they're kind of neat. I used to bring them home. Let's see. I can get a nice fresh one here. See this next set? They'll be the ones that bloom tomorrow. Okay. It's up from my mom's a little bit. There's one of the century plants. Gorgeous. But look at the colors on these. It's cacti. Kind of hiked up away from my mom's a little bit. There's the road. Cacti. It's a beautiful lake. Okay. Oh, there's a little kitty. A white kitty. Okay. Oh, these aren't done over here yet. These are wildflowers. You see them? I'll see if I could find a monkey flower. It's a wildflower. And show you guys. But this is kind of like, excuse me, allergies. What I've kind of been doing for the last couple of months. Beautiful oak trees. Okay, and you guys seen the star jasmine. So I'll turn it off here. Okay, this is back in the beginning of April, and this was a luxury to see for me because I had never seen the shooting star out in the wild, just in books. So that was kind of fun to see. And this white one, I don't know what it is. These were real interesting because of the way that they grew, but they're tiny. That's a blade of grass that's right there. And these are what they call buttercups because they're very shiny looking, like somebody's coated them with butter. And you see the miner's lettuce in there. And this, I think, is a wild pea. Not sure though. And again, the grass is very large. These, I have no idea. And here's the minor lettuce in full bloom. You know, minor lettuce is actually edible. And this is rosemary in bloom. This is either a type of vetch or pea. This is the wild cucumber, which is not edible. It's poisonous when I looked it up some years ago. This is running myrtle. It's part of the periwinkle family. Gorgeous purple flower. And this I thought was Brodia, but when I looked it up, I'll have to look at the name because I've forgotten what it is. And here's the rosebud in bloom, and see the grass is still really green. This is early April. And my mom has been having cancer treatment, so these flowers are what's in bloom. This is broom. It's not native to here. Very invasive, but it's very pretty. This is purple vetch, I believe. There's all kinds of vetch. Pardon me. Then these red ones, we were stuck in traffic on St. Helena Mountain, and this is either Indian Warrior or Indian Paintbrush, I forget. Some wild lilac at the Cancer Center. These are the buds to cultivated lilac. These little purple ones, I need to look up again. I should know the name of them, but I have forgotten. And this was my lesson for last month on animals. Just wanted to show. The bird is actually squawking at me to go away. And it's waiting for me to leave so it can fly up and feed the babies. And then there'll be a little picture at the end of this showing me inside the house. And it finally flies up to babies. But the mom and dad were real busy feeding those guys. There he is, or her. And this was the finished project for my lesson last month, May. And these look like asparagus shoots, but they're not. They are to the century plant, and they're very tall, very, very tall. And once they complete their bloom, the plant dies. And this here, I didn't know what it was, and it is a large leaf lotus. This is obviously a bird had dropped a seed in the ditch and it bloomed this year, because I stopped on the side of the road to take a picture of that. I just loved how it looked. Back there. It's a cultivated plant. And this is, again, I thought it was interesting because of the yellow leaves. I mean, the yellow blossoms and the orange blossoms. Just all on the same plant. Obviously, the one bloom is older than the other. And this is, oh, what is this? Trumpet plant. Some more Indian warrior or paintbrush. This is sour grass. It's a clover. Us kids used to eat the grass or the stems to it when we were little. This here, I think, is some kind of mint or spearmint. I don't know what those flowers were. This is the rose that I took a picture of to do our Mother's Day greeting to people in the family. This is a tulip that my mother's neighbor planted. Lilac coming into bloom, cultivated. And this is, in comparison, the wild lilac. The purple vetch again. Just gorgeous color. They're small. And this is broom. It's beautiful on the side of the road. And here shortly, the miner's lettuce is coming up. And once I took my grandkids out foraging the miner's lettuce before it went into bloom. So the leaves were nice and tender. And we came back home and we added it to our salad. It's kind of fun to do. The blossoms to it are upside down, and they're odd, but you know, a deep purple color, the wild cucumber again. And they're tiny flowers to this, and it's a vine. Looks like I may have copied those pictures in here twice, but that's okay. And I have no idea what those are. They were just tiny flowers, though. There's the pea. It's been a while since I went wildflower hunting. This is the buttercups again. These are so brilliant in color. Very small though. I want to say it's fennel. I'm not sure though. There's the shooting star again. It was a treat to see. All these flowers here were along my mom's road that she lives on. And these are oleander, and they're drought resistant, deer resistant, very poisonous though. That was star jasmine. And this I think is African daisy, which is cultivated. And here's the moss to that oak tree by the soap lilies that I spotted. And the texture was just nice. And this, we had a warning up here at my mom's about flood and thunder and lightning. It was a really balmy day, but I loved how the clouds looked. Just beautiful. Makes a nice reference photo. My mom's neighbors has 2 stories to it, and you could see the distance of those century plants. This is a rooster that belongs to my mom's neighbor. And a white rose. It's almost gone. And then there's this bank of these cacti that's along their back fence. And beyond that is the cliff. But the cactus were coming into bloom, and they're just gorgeous. Beautiful flowers. I would love to see a desert in full bloom with the cacti. Just gorgeous. There was this color, and then there was a yellow mixed in. These those berries turn into a almost blackberry. It's dark blue. But I was trying to get the texture of the cactus and the detail. This is I think this is probably some kind of aloe vera or something that belonged to my mom's neighbor. It's a really close-up. One is fuchsia. Would that be a good color for that? So star jasmine again. More oleander. This must be some kind of... They're highly poisonous, and when you have to clip them, you should really wear long sleeves and gloves because they're poisonous, and if you get scratched by one, it can turn pretty ugly. And I don't know what these daisies are, but they sure were pretty. Belonged to the neighbor across the road. And this is the lilacs going to seed. And this is broom going to seed. So it's further along in the season. This is buckeye, which is actually a native tree to California, and it's also poisonous. But I wanted to get some close-ups of the cone-shaped cluster of flowers. more seed pod to the broom. Close-up of this soap lily. I put the pictures through iMovie so I would get this effect. These were little teeny beautiful flowers that close up like our California poppy at night. This is Marrow, I believe, and these are really small flowers. And here's a seed pod to the red bud. And I think this was a mixture of some vetch and also wild violets. There's some more marrow. Just trying to show my key to show how big it was, but it didn't go down to the flower. Here's a picture of our California poppies. And then there's those little, they're gorgeous little flowers. Look at the detail. The iPhone does a really good job on the close-ups, and then I would blow them up so I could get the detail of the flower. Some marrow again. And then there's one coming up. Look at the detail, all the little hair that, or whatever they're called, on the leaves and stems. You can see them glistening. And this is white yarrow. And when I took this picture, I hadn't realized until I blew it up that it was full of these beetles feeding on the pollen. That's the only thing that I could think of why they're there. Here's moss and lichen growing on that oak tree close up. Lovely texture. And here's some yellow yarrow, and some beetles are feeding on it. I don't know what the beetles are. There's a picture of those wildflowers on that hike that I did up my mom's road. I gotta look up the names to these. Seems like I should know them, but I don't. Can't remember them. It's been a while since I did the wildflower hikes. I just love the cactus back there. I love how the pictures turned out. Beautiful color. But those century plants, I guess to make tequila out of them. Some more vetch. This is a different kind of vetch. And this, I have no idea what it was, but it had a bloom to it. And I stuck that piece of grass in the, to show you the size of it. And the neighbor's tomatoes are starting to produce a little bit. This is dill blossom, an herb. And she also had some peas growing, and there is a pea bloom. Some more cactus, the yellow. Beautiful flowers. She said that was some kind of butterfly bush. I didn't recognize it. And this is purple basil. Beautiful flowers in her garden. This was the only lily that was in bloom at the time. And so we took a picture of that. And these are blossoms. To me, that looks like thyme back there. Geranium, little geranium. Some more detail of the geranium. And this bears a fruit with a lot of seeds, and the seeds are surrounded by juice. And for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it. This is, these were almost neon. She called this Mexican lather, or not lather, lavender. Really close up of those little geraniums. I'm really impressed with the iPhone. How you can get so close to something and get the detail. And here's our California poppies, which is our state flower. Pretty color. I have no idea what these are. I'll have to look them up. And these were another treat to see because I had never seen them in the wild. But I think this is what they call Mariposa poppies, I think. And I was just so intrigued with them and the colors. Beautiful flowers. So I took a lot of pictures of them. I didn't add any of my other pictures from previous hikes that I've done because I think I have them all on my computer. Beautiful flowers. This is a cluster of vetch. And here I stopped along the highway thinking that this was probably the false lupin. But after I got closer to it, I decided that this must be the true yellow lupin because of the leaf and how it looks. This is some monkey flower up there. Monkey flower tends to grow on cliffs. I thought those two rocks there looked like faces. And this is a farewell to spring. It's in the Clarkia family. And I think this is what they call the elegant farewell to spring or Clarkia. I found one purple lupin, which is right there. There's all kinds of lupins. There's a miniature, and then there's this kind, and the yellow. I had almost missed the blossoms because the highway was speckled with them. And this here is more lupin up against the rocks. I thought it made a nice picture. This is more monkey flower. The face of it kind of looks like the shape of a monkey face, and that's where it got its name. And this here, I think, is St. John's wort. I'm not sure, but I think that's what that is. It's a wildflower. Some more vetch. And this is what mule's ear, and it looks, this one's been spent, it's done, but it looks like a sunflower. And here's the monkey bush that I was able to get close enough to get a good snapshot, and that's what I did my lesson on this month on the 14th. But the face of the, and this is Queen Anne's lace, and the reason why it's named that is because of the red flower in the center surrounded by all the white ones. You know, Queen Anne had red hair, and she always wore those big extravagant neck laces. And this is just some close-ups of the hills that are surrounding my mom's and across the lake. This is only a small part of the lake. This lake up here has over 100 miles of shoreline. And there's Mount Konocti back there. It's actually a dormant volcano. This was another surprise that I ran into, was the yucca blossoms, which is in the wildflower book, so I took a picture of it. They're almost done now. And here are the deer. I was going down to the store, and lo and behold, there was a deer feeding on the dry grass or whatever the green is there. My mom and I were leaving, and you know, a couple of months back there was a doe with her twin babies, but of course I wasn't quick enough with the camera. And here's the community pier that's right next to the store that I went to, so I walked over and I took pictures of it. There were actually a set of mallard ducks, but they were in the shade and they wouldn't have showed up. Somewhere I have a picture of the white cranes. And here's a variety of the century plant. It's variegated. Some mixture of banana leaves, and those are yucca plants out there. They haven't bloomed though. My mom's neighbor has chickens, and that's the rooster. Okay, this video is coming up to an end, and these were just a few snapshots of things that I also took. It's a pine cone and the detail of the pine cone. cultivated lilac. I missed the blossom. Somehow and these are some of her lilies that are planted in boxes, and some more geraniums. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it inspires you to look closely at your surroundings and find some inspiration from it. I just loved taking the pictures, and I'll see you in the groups. I think the last one, I think this is Brodia. What they call, no, not Brodia. I forget what it is. Kind of unusual.